Sick and tired, she said. Sick and tired. That's what one of my viewers said. Sent me an email, well, about a week ago, actually, probably. And I thought, yes, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Sick and tired. Hello, welcome back to another of my monologues. I'm having a pipe and a cup of coffee. So, there you go. And apologies for not doing a video yesterday. Just one of those days. Had things to do, had to rush around, do a lot of bits and pieces, and got on with it, and completely ran out of time to do a video. But you'll be pleased to know I've got 3 videos, 3 interviews to do today, so you'll see them coming out. I hope you'll enjoy them too. I know I shall enjoy talking to the lovely people that I do. But sick and tired, this particular individual said. I'm sick and tired of going online and seeing all this negative stuff. And negative stuff in the news, negative stuff online, all on YouTube, everywhere. And I thought to myself, well, I know exactly what you mean. I've been talking about this for a long time. She says, there's nowhere to go, nowhere to find some fun and interesting but positive stuff in the area and space that we exist. Everyone is all negative. You see people saying, oh, England is done for, this country, people are abandoning it, they're going abroad, they're trying to find somewhere else to live. And then we've got all this Rachel's racial stuff with flags and bits and pieces and people trying to get civil war going, and there's all these tensions and stuff, and of course then there's all the pictures of people being evicted from their houses, or there's lots of policemen coming along for no apparent reason. All of this, she said, I'm sick and tired of watching all of this nonsense. This is not what I signed up for when I came down into this world and became I nearly said person then. One's got to be careful what one says. A woman. She was a woman. She is a woman, I believe. She's probably still watching. Sick and tired. And I know what you mean. She said, that's why I've turned to you, Richard. When you said that you're going back to the land, you're going to the land, you're buying a piece of land, you're going to inspire people to do the right thing, or to try and exist outside the system, or to grow your own veg and all that. She says, I'm very much looking forward to that. And I'm so thrilled because it's a decision that Julia and I have taken, of course, to get away as much as we can from the town, from the 5G, from the fluorided water, from the stress and strain of everything, from the councils and from the pressure and all this sort of nonsense. And from the tyranny that seems to be in the world that we're in, and to have a little bit of connection with nature to try and grow our own stuff. Now, not saying that we're going to be any good at all these things. This is all new territory for us, but it's in the heart. It's something that we've both have been thinking about, wanting, and have found that is probably in our DNA. I've always said that I used to think that in the past, if people believe in reincarnation, that in the past I was probably a labourer on a farm. And I feel like this is returning to my roots, as it were. I grew up next to a farm where my friend Peter and I would find old bottles and bits and pieces in the ground, and clay pipes, broken clay pipes, where in the old days the fields were ploughed by horse and plough, and you can imagine the ploughman out there following in the horse, biting a bit too hard, perhaps tripping on a stone, a flinty stone in the soil, biting down and chomping off a bit of the pipe, throws that away, but because it's a clay pipe, could continue to smoke until he reaches the bowl, and then through the bowl. And we used to find all these things. And here am I. See, I have this interest in smoking a pipe. And so it takes me back, really. And I feel that that's where my roots are, and that's where I ought to be. And if we can inspire people, and we're determined to show warts and all, really, the mistakes that we make, whatever it is that we do, so that people don't feel that you have to be absolutely experts at all of this, that you have to know exactly what you're doing. And the more people can have a go, get back to the land, grow something in their back garden, give it a go. We know that the food is being squished, poisoned, mucked about with, whatever you want to call it, that there may well be food shortages, that farmers are being squeezed, that the new generation of farmers is going to come from you and I. People may not believe that, But if the farmers go out of business, are you really going to eat worms? Is that and bugs? Is that really what you're going to settle for? Or just vegetarian food? I spoke to a farmer the other day, and she said to me, she said, we get on the farm a lot of kids come and stay because they've got a campsite and various things. She said, and a lot of them are vegetarians. They come in and they go, oh, look at all these animals. She said two interesting things. One, that as far as these kids are concerned, and they come from cities and things, they think farms is a sanctuary where animals are saved. They don't understand that the farms are places where the animals are bred to be slaughtered, to be turned into meat so that we can eat them and have nutrient-rich food. The other thing she said is a lot of them are vegetarian and they're very ill looking. They look very ill, they're sullen and all of that. Now, this isn't a slur towards anybody who's a vegetarian, of course, but maybe young children probably need a few essential fats that you do get from animals and various other nutrients until they're old enough to make the mind up for themselves. But that's entirely up to you. I'm not preaching to you to tell you what to do. That's an observation that she gave to me, and I thought that was very interesting, particularly about how people do not understand it. But she did say, she said that occasionally you get some young kids and they know, and they put it in, you know what kids are like, they put it in no nonsense terms and said, oh yeah, all these animals, you're going to kill them, aren't you? You're going to kill them animals and you're going to eat them, aren't you? Aren't you? And she's like, well, yes, but it's not quite, you put it in very stark terms, but that is, yes, that's basically the thing. Well, we need to eat these animals. We've got to have all their goodness. So some people have got it, and some people maybe not have got it. But anyway, so that's where Julia and I are heading, and it can't be long. I was in communication with the solicitors, because we're having to buy the title, we're having to go down the legal route in order so that the seller can sell a bit of land and his name comes off the legal title of the land. And all that sort of nonsense shenanigans and all that sort of business, so that the legal fiction that isn't really mine at all, but has been associated with me through the so-called birth certificate. Anyway, let's not get into all of that in this video. So once that nonsense is done, then we can actually get onto the land. We can start doing things that we want to do. We can face whatever consequences, because we know that people, it would not surprise me if a law is passed or a act or statute has been passed to say growing food is illegal. Somebody sent me a picture, and I don't know how true this is, that somewhere in one part of the country, I think a council has put a £300 fine for anyone picking blackberries from bushes. Can that be true? Can that really be true? I did that as a child with my parents, my mum and dad. We would go out and we would pick blackberries, and then my mum would turn those into blackberry pie, blackberry pudding, blackberry this, that and the other, summer fruit jams and things like that. And crazy, £300 fine for blackberry picking. Now, whether that's somebody going onto somebody's farm, but we used to go on the farms, they're the hedgerows on the public footpath, and you take your bowls. What's happened to the world? What's going on? People are fleeing, as I said, but we're not going to. We're going to stake our claim on a bit of God's earth, and we're going to set up our little farm, and so it won't be long. And we hope that in the videos on the English couple, and you'll see the link in the description or at the end of this video, very soon we'll be starting to get on there. It can't be that much long. How long does it take for someone to say, I want to sell this, I want to buy this, sign here, hand over the money, and everything is there to sort of make life a bit difficult, and other people seems to make the money from it. Finally, I know it's another plug for Biggleswick, the town that wouldn't comply. There are people in the book that take to the land, and you can find out what they do and how they get around the legality of things to do what they want to do, a bit similar to us. And of course, if we manage to get to the land, there may well be a follow-up book in which they do take to the land and explain how they do it. The reason I mention it now is that swift as I don't know, swift as a swift flying in the sky from a bush in a little hedge somewhere, up and catching something and then coming back down. Swift as a red kite, circling around, swift as an eagle. The lady who has done the proofreading has read the book and has looked at the grammar and is sending it back, and it should arrive today. It hasn't arrived yet. I'm doing this in the morning, and the post usually comes around at lunchtime. So I'm looking forward to getting the final bits and mistakes that we missed into the book, so I can talk to the publishers, get the publishers to print books, and then tell you how you can get the books. Won't be on Amazon, by the way. Won't be on Amazon. So there you go. That's the news from the front. In the meantime, I've lost my lighter, and that's probably a problem for me, not for you. But oh, here it is. So until next time, thank you for watching. Yes, sick and tired, she said. Sick and tired. And quite rightly so. Let's not watch all the negative stuff. We need to be inspired for the future. We need to have positive thoughts, courageous nature, and get back to nature. So until next time, take care. Thanks for watching. See you soon.